tenker jeg med I gang. Yes, this is Calorith and Zulmathul, and we are going to do analysis of the lists for the Herford Qualifier for the German teams. Luckily for me, they have allowed the outsider teams to join the tournament as well. So me and Charles got together a team, and we're going to drink loads of beer and roll some dice and have some fun.
It sounds like a good tournament.
Yes. So we will start by the first team. It's Asinativ für Deutschland. So the first list on the chopping block is Dennis Klein with the Dread Elves.
Yeah.
So
looks like a lot of small units.
Yeah.
And double assassin. That's going to be fun, but who knows? If he gets the right opponent, it could go well, but it's a little bit too small for my liking.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of look at the big dancers of Yema block that's both going to be his strength and his weakness, because to me that looks like a big juicy target for all of these pyromancy spells, the enveloping embers and stuff like this. So for me, I think it's a very gimmicky list, but I don't think it will work out too well for him, unfortunately, just because of the sheer amount of pyromancy and small arms fire there is in this tournament.
Yeah, I think so. It's it's too concentrated in one place, and you give the opponent one target, and so
a certain Savage Sage has had some success on the Dread Elf MSU, but
this is not quite MSU though.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and not a lot of concentrated points.
I also asked the question, why the great weapons on the Raven cloaks? To me, that just like I think it's the 8 attacks isn't for me really going to do much anyways, and if he scouts them in the backfield, they're just going to be that's 300 easy points for me.
Yeah.
But then again, it's very matchup dependent. Some armies can handle it, and some armies will probably think that's a bad unit for them to face.
It's probably just points that was left over, so you can't get much except for single models anyway for those great weapons.
Also, I'm kind of curious because he doesn't, as far as I can see, have an altar in his army, which I think is kind of a must for the semi-competitive Dread Elf list that we can see. And also I feel like the theme of the tournament and pretty much around the scene elsewhere has been the Chariot Dreadlord also. Yeah. It's the mainstay, but for me this is like dice roll wise, I would say a 3. It's on the weak end of the scale, but the 2 assassins is kind of intriguing to me.
Yeah, it could get some good matchups with the character heavy armies or something with the assassins, but
but this the Nightshade, what's this again?
Which one?
Nightshade. It's the multiple wound 2 on characters. And
it could be.
I think the Wolfsbane is the one that's
you wound on
toughness.
+1, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's intriguing, but for me it's 3 out of 6.
Yeah.
Then we have Fabian Bayer with Dwarfen Holds.
Anti-monster list and with double cannons and double seekers.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's like one of these armies that you will see people drop on the table very early in the pairings. But I also think he will struggle quite a bit because there is a lot of like this high elf avoidance type style that can just sit back, and then the seekers instead of becoming a strength, they become a liability, and also he hasn't taken Vanguard on them,
Yep.
so he
So they're
can't
slow.
really push with them.
True.
So for me, they kind of look like more. If he taken Vanguard, then at least he would had the option to push.
Hmm.
But without it, it just seems more like I'm going to sit here with my 3 medium-sized blocks of hard to kill dudes with unbreakable or near unbreakable stats,
Yeah.
and then just try to shoot you.
Yeah. If you get the right objective and you avoid the shooting and avoidance army, it stands to a drawish game. But you can't push against the wrong opponents, and if you don't face monsters, you don't have any way of getting major points. So, but it's a dwarf army. It's hard to take out, so you can't lose very much with it. So in worst case, it should be around 5 points. So
yeah, it's one of these armies
Yeah.
that won't go like 20-0.
Yep.
But unless you do something really wrong.
yeah. Of course, you can always do something wrong and lose big. But if you play decently, you should struggle to take less than 5 points.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So what's your rating for this list?
For a dwarf list, maybe a 4. You could improve with the Vanguard. You could also change it for something else, but it's a fairly solid list. But you can't win big or you can't lose big, so probably a 4.
Yeah. And then for Giuseppe Spirziola.
Yeah, you probably butchered that horribly.
Oh yeah, most
with the
definitely.
highball elves, yes.
And then we get one of these avoidance type high elf I mentioned, and this is one of them.
But it's double swordmasters, which is maybe too many swordmasters, but it's a cheeky way to do it with double swordmasters. It could be interesting, but it's again, if you face the wrong kind of army with pyromancy and chariots or something, they die very, very quickly.
Yeah. Also for me, I think the Swordmasters, as much as I like them, I think they're just too, at least in this version, with the pyromancy being as strong as it is, I think that they're just going to die in droves, and it doesn't really have a way to protect them. If he would have taken like the guy that can pick spells from Druidism, I could kind of see it working. But as far as he's gotten, he has the Stalker Standard and the Relentless Company, so he's going to advance fast. But for me, even he doesn't have he's barely across 50 wounds, and 50 wounds, it's not that hard actually when you're T3 and only 5+ armor save.
He does have the Banner of Becalming that could help a little bit with stopping spells, but it's still you get too many pyromancy spells if you have pyromancy against this. And also he has pyromancy / divination, so he could get, if he faces very heavy shooting, he could do scrying or something. But
that's a band-aid on a flesh wound in my mind.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's
But yeah, again, it's a case of right place, right time, and
Absolutely.
right opponent.
Yeah.
So for me, I give this, I guess, a 4.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because
in that area,
as we said, it's not like this is an overall bad list. It's like, but it's like very matchup dependent.
Yeah. So it's good against some opponents. You can't do much against some opponents. So and also he has a little bit of shooting, so he could hold back. But you've spent nearly 2,000 points on Swordmasters, and holding back with that many points, just giving away objective. But maybe you won't lose more than 6 or 7. But that's a silly way to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have Sebastian von Clan. With Undying Dynasties.
Casket, yes, I love it. And some 4 units of Necropolis Guard. That's you can't go wrong with a guard for dynasties.
For me, this smells a lot like Uncle Hans.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, Uncle Hans is a Norwegian coach for the ETC team, and he plays Undying Dynasties, and his list looks an awful lot like this.
Yeah. It's very similar to what he brought to France, isn't it?
Yeah, and also,
except for the casket, but yeah.
And also for Yalo, it's basically Necropolis Guard, like MSU style, with a lot of champions, pretty much. But he likes to run Sandstalkers or monsters instead of the Cataphracts. But it's a double-edged sword, because the Cataphracts, they have some certain benefits like scoring, but I don't think they hit too hard, at least not compared to the Sandstalkers.
Yeah, the initiative shooting could be devastating against some things, but pairing up with scoring against archers or high elves or something, it could do well. So it's a little bit more match dependent, maybe, but
it's also not really a lot of shooting. It's like only 27 shots and 2 catapults. So to me, it's basically, as it's probably going to be the second tier placed army, because then they will place the dwarves in probably the whatever is, if they get placed army in flags, this will probably be the one that they avoid choosing flags with, and then the dwarves, they will have 4 flags, I think.
Yeah, probably. And also the difference here, why he probably has Cataphract, is because he has non-scoring chariots in core instead of more troops. So that gives him a few extra scoring units. Not that he needs it with 4 units of Necropolis Guards, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6, 7, 8 scoring units.
Yeah. So
this guy would fit right in on the Norwegian ETC team. All the scoring units.
True.
All right. Overall, how do you feel about this list?
Yeah, it has some tricks. It has a few against the right opponent. It's probably a 4 list because it has good opponents. It has some matchups where it can't do much because there's not much to do. And it's probably quite weak against monsters. You have poison on the Necropolis Guard, but yeah. So it has different matchups than what Hans used to play, but it's a decent-ish list, yeah.
Yeah, I think this list will struggle against monsters.
Yeah.
If you have like the Gore-Tax, they will just like openly shred the Necropolis Guard, because they will have the rerolls and stomp, and they will just chew through 1 unit around almost. And but against, like, if you think of the big monsters like the Star Dragon and the Greater Demons, they all are characters, and he has 4 champions in this unit, so he's pretty well suited to keep those type of lists in check, I feel.
Yeah.
But against the smaller guys, I think he would struggle.
Yeah, unless he gets lucky with poisons.
Yeah, of course. There is always that.
Yeah.
Alright, so the last list of the team is Marvin Klein with Vampire Covenant. And it's a double Shrieking Horror list. And looks like a Vampire Count with no ward save as general.
Yeah, I can't. No, only a 2 up.
Yeah,
2 up armor.
2 up on the mantle.
Yeah.
He hits like decently hard for a von Karnstein count, but
he's still on foot.
Yeah. And then you have the other guy with Stoker Standard and Bronze Breastplate. He's okay, I guess. To me, it's a little bit expensive.
True. You could have just as easily done double Necromancer instead for maybe half the points or a third of the points, and you get basically the same thing, because you can't fight with two vampires on foot against things that are hard in combat. They will die too easily.
Yeah. And also for me, I don't really see why he has taken the Stalker standard. Because I don't really see the Barrow Guard type unit, because he only has the skeletons. So that
30
means,
skeletons.
That means that they go in the skeletons, and for me the combinations of this list are just lacking. Yeah, he has the 2 Shrieking Horrors, and that's great and all with the hard target and the 4-up region, so he can zone a little bit, but against an army with, if he faces a mirror match, basically with Barrow Guards, I think he's really fucked.
Yeah, or even dynasties with Necropolis Guard or anything with a hard-hitting unit on foot. That's a lot of bodies. He's struggling very hard.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I think I can see kind of a team that he's trying to build, like the skeletons is pretty much just a static castle, because he has the war standard, and so he has like the BSB plus one from von Karnstein. He has 2 points for standard in the unit. So he's like 4 static plus probably 3 ranks. So he's up to what, like 7 before the combat starts. And then his vampires will probably do a few wounds, but for me, I think it's not enough, simply put.
Yeah, honestly, I think he would have done better if he had bigger units of skeletons for necromancers and just two big units of 60 skeletons and boosting them, and just I hold her forever and start squeaking at you with the horse.
Yeah, I agree.
You have the points to do it, so it's probably a lot more boring to play, but it's a lot stronger.
For me, this is a dice roll of 2. I think the combinations are not like too good. I think it lacks a little bit of flavor, because I think you can sit back with this list and probably don't lose more than 13-7. But then again, you can probably do that with almost any vampire count list.
Absolutely.
And then you can have a lot better matchups than you have with this list.
Yeah.
So I feel it's slightly counterproductive.
Yeah. If you play warriors here and a single Chaos Lord gets through to your general, and he might lose combat, but he will kill your general and BSB as long as he sticks there.
Yeah, I think there is possibilities there. If you go with like a Lust Lord or 2 in a unit of the Marauder Horsemen, and then you just Vanguard in their face and charge in turn 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I think you will maximum have, well, pretty much the thing with that list is that they can ensure almost a charge, and you will only have really one option to scream at them, and that would be one scream would go single-mindedly into the unit, and the other scream would be separated between the characters. So I think that would be a bad deal.
Yeah. And if you start losing the general and BSB here, you are struggling so hard. Leaderships on the horse, they will pop quite quickly. So
yeah, overall for this team, I think they have a decent enough combination of armies. They can, for me, I think they should have had one more offensive-minded army. Because when the Dwarven Holt guy doesn't have Vanguard on his Seeker, his strategic value in pairings goes a bit down. Because obviously the 2 Elven armies are the 2 armies that they want to go ahead and get the big points.
Yeah.
And then they have 3 more like defensive-minded armies. You can argue that Undying Dynasties is like a compromise or a midway kind of thing. But for me, it's like don't really think of it as a great offensive tool.
No.
So overall, I would give for the team as a whole, I think this is either a 4 or a 3, because I think the overall strategy might work, but I don't think they will win with this type of strategy. I think they will wind up like mid-tier-ish.
Yeah, probably. I kind of agree with that. It looks like they have the parts for the plan, but they haven't followed it quite all the way through.
Yeah, but they are not far off though. If they made a slight few changes, I think they would be really good on their way to getting there. And I really don't know the skill level of the players as well, to be frank.
Yeah, of course. That we don't really know many of the German players except for the ETC team, so it's hard to.
I know like two of the teams, and then it's like very sparse otherwise. All right. So the next team is Betreutes für Fällen. And then they start off with demons with full wrath party.
Yeah. Just from the bat off, it looks like they're going quite a bit more offensive than the first team. Here we are pushing, and we are pushing hard. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is not going to be a big analysis of this first list, because it's like. It's a mono wrath list. There is very limited stuff you can do, and I feel this is probably is maximized the scoring potential with the big unit of slaughterers, and then another one to top off core.
Yeah.
And then he has max chaff. He has 2 cannons. He has 2 big units of crushers, and he has the scourge. So for me, this is like it's a solid 5. This would do well in a singles tournament. I think the only thing that he could probably look into doing is looking for options to get one of the heralds with a veil of shadows in the slaughterers to make it even more nasty, and also maybe look for the points for a champion.
Champion could do well, yeah.
But besides that, I don't really see any weakness here.
No, it's a very strong list for what it's supposed to do, and it's hard to do the list any stronger with doing a mono-wrath list.
Yeah, the only thing I could see myself doing is taking out 1 unit of Furies and then just like give some champions and maybe a magical banner for the slaughterers, and then just grab a few more bodies, and that's about it. I don't think there is much improvement otherwise.
No, it's you're struggling for points because you need double crusher, you need the scourge, you need double cannon, so you don't have much points left to mix up after that, so it's
solid.
Solid.
Next one is Stefan Fossen,
Warriors,
with double lusts, sorcerer, 3 units of lust, 1 shrine, a small unit of horsemen, and a vortex fiend.
Yeah, so
probably made to mitigate the short range of alchemy.
Yeah, maybe. That could be because you put the sorcerer with the warriors, and you for that reason the barbarians, and use the vortex fiends as a range buff.
Yeah, I think he will sit with the barbarians. Because the barbarians, they reroll panic and the warriors don't. And I guess the Harbinger of Lust will be out seeking adventure.
Yeah. They should be.
For me, this is a 4 out of 6. I think there is a couple of things you could do to make this list more nasty. I don't really appreciate the Vortex Fiend.
No, it's
Although I can
it's
see what he's trying to do with it. I just
yeah.
think it's, for me, with alchemy, it's not really panning out. Because alchemy is like really matchup dependent. There are some armies that fucking hate it, and there is some army that's like don't really care at all.
Yeah. So it's very matchup dependent, and 19 Warriors of Pestilence, it's too big for my taste. I would have preferred having 2 units of 10 or smaller units, and not throw so many points at full command and banner of speed. But they're solid and they're a fucking pain to get away.
Yeah. For me, I kind of look at what happens if the list above faces this army. I honestly think that the Wrath army would just destroy this army outright. Because the Scourge, he doesn't really have any worries at all. He can just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, the Scourge will kill just about anything here, but
yeah, it's like either he's try to seek out the Lords of Lust, or if he doesn't, then he's just like, okay, I ignore these guys and they can try to stop my army and see if they can make it, but my army is a 5-up ward save over the board.
Yeah.
So most likely they can get the chariots and the 10 slaughterers, but I don't think they can touch the 3 big blocks, and then the Scourge just destroys like all the chosen, I guess. And
yeah, he should. There's no stopping the Scourge because you will never catch the Steed of Lust unless you get blocked by some impossible terrain or do something stupid with them. But all the chosen are gone against the Wrath Scourge.
Yeah.
And then the Vortex Fiend will fall, the Sorcerer will be stuck hiding in a corner with the Barbarians, and he's coming quickly for you. So it's not a good matchup there. But Chosen Lords, Chosen Lists have many other good matchups, and from looking on with the team, it's looking like it's solid pushing all the way, so it's going to be hard for their opponents to pick who they want to play in some matchups.
Yeah, maybe. But for me, I think this list, there is more room for improvement than the first one.
True.
And then we have Eric Shikoran with Ogre Khans, Hellfist style.
Yep.
Well, this looks like your typical Hellfist list. Isn't really much more to say.
Yeah, double rocks, double hunters with spear on foot, being annoying. On Tusker. On Tusker. Yeah, but yeah. And two Tuskers to add up, and cannons. Yeah, it's very, very classic, very, very ogre-y.
Very ogre-y.
What we've seen from the ogres the last year, I think. So it's not much to do here.
No, I think this will probably be their the army that they choose to place in the pairings, just because it's so versatile.
Yeah,
you can play almost any secondary objective well, maybe besides from flags, and besides that, I think they do well against almost any army.
True.
So yeah, this is dice roll of 6 for me.
Yeah, probably
close to as
at least. Yeah, at least close to it. I can't see. I don't know why he bought a great weapon for his foreman, but it's probably 2 points left or something.
Yeah. I can see one thing. The tribesmen, they don't have a standard of discipline.
That's of course you should have that. It's but
if you fluff a 8
reroll, it could be expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be really bad.
Yeah.
But besides that, okay, so I'll downgrade to a 5 out of 6.
Yeah, maybe.
I've fluffed those rolls before.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
it's still only an 8 reroll.
I think 8 rerollable is like almost close to 90% success rate.
Yeah, it's something around that.
So
Yeah, take away the champion and take away the scepter of power, I guess, and then get the discipline banner.
Yeah.
Then you're safe.
Yeah. Or not take a great weapon on Scrappling Foreman.
Yeah, it's probably like 1 or 2 points, so who cares?
Yeah.
I don't think taking that away would help you get any closer to the banner.
No, I think you could slim the points down in that unit somewhat, but I think the Foreman is okay, but I wouldn't just spend any more points on them. I would take the bows maybe instead.
Yeah, maybe. It's just so if you have to play flag, you get the reroll on the leadership there as well.
Only 4 spells though. Only 4 spells. I usually see people take the Ring of Fire or the Crown of Autocracy to have leadership 9. If you don't roll with the standard of discipline, I feel like that's a safe way to go with leadership 9 instead.
Yeah, but the discipline is better. Auto passing is better than.
Oh yeah, I'm totally agreeing. I made that argument to Ugrush one time. He was like, but I have leadership 10 rerollable on my dwarves, and I'm like, okay, but what's better than rolling that leadership 10 rerollable? Not rolling it.
Yeah. Leadership 10 cold-blooded. Oh well.
Yeah, but solid 5. Near perfect.
Yeah, for the ogres it's now perfect.
Yeah. And next one is Nils der Irre Kitzmann with the Saurian Ancients. Lord and BSB on Taurosaur. 3 Taurosaurs actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, somewhat. But
no good place to hide is Slunlord or Quetzalord.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really see how this list is doing. I can see that there is like a lot of shooting. And
a lot of units walking in your way, but it's a lot of small units.
Yeah. How is the Taurosaur these days? I'm not really on page with the dinos.
It's just about what it used to be in the old days.
Do they still have the 2d6 poison shots?
If you have the giant pipes, I think, yeah.
So that's probably yes, because I think the great bow
on
is
2 of them he has
that,
one. Yeah. And he has the engine on the BSP.
Yeah. The engine, that's like lowering casting difficulty.
Yeah, it's something like that, and it does at the start of the turn. It does some kind of explosion or something damage inside.
Yeah. Okay.
So some kind of strength 5 hits or something. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't usually end up doing a massive impact on games, but
so there's probably a reason we don't see many of them.
It is impact hits and it is stubborn, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And toughness 6, yeah.
5 chameleons and 2 times 6 hunters. 5 times 10 Saurian warriors. I think there is possibility that he could overload some armies.
Yeah.
But if he faces off like the Undying Dynasties from the last army, I think it would straight up lose. Just because the Undying Dynasty would very easily be able to put pressure on his Quattle Lord.
Yep.
Meanwhile, his Hierophant is very, very safe.
Absolutely, yeah. So it has some decent matchups. It can hold a fair deal of armies to a standstill. But if you face ambushing units, or if you face came from below, or you face flyers or something, you will be in a hard place very, very quickly.
Yeah. So how would you rate this one?
It's a hard call, but I'm not a big fan of the Taurosaurs, so probably a 3. Maybe I'm a little bit hard, but I'm lacking a place to put the Quetzalord, and I'm not a big fan myself of the Torosol, so probably a 3. Maybe if. Yeah.
I think you're being too kind. I would rate this lower.
Oh well.
All right. So we'll settle on a 3 then.
Okay.
Arthur Big Mac Gutler with Dread Elf.
Yeah.
This is more like what I was talking about.
Corsairs with the Ultra Lord on the Chariot, double Kraken. I should have had one more Kraken, but I probably don't have points for that.
Only thing I would maybe have changed is trying to either don't take the Flaming Standard, because as a Dread Elf player you will most likely have rerolls to wound in some capacity anyways, so I think the combo with Alchemy is kind of wasted.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would rather have taken like the +1 movement, or so you can be 6 Swift, or the Triple March banner instead. Something like along those lines. Because right now I feel like he's not using the optimized potential of the list. He's getting there. He's close, but I think he could do a little bit better.
Yeah, it could also be he's afraid of facing high toughness targets. So rerolling everything when you need 5s or 6s to wound, it's better than just rerolling once.
Yeah, but you can gain this bonus from the altar.
Oh, you can. Yeah, of course you can get reroll wounds from the altar. Yeah, then it's just no point in doing.
Yeah.
Then you're doubling up on something you don't need.
Yeah, for me at least it looks like that.
And
I mean, if the altar goes down anyways, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, if the altar dies, there not much 31 Corsairs can do against whatever killed the altar.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for me this is 4 or 5, because the Dread Elf for me is kind of a low tier army anyways.
Yeah.
But
True.
so I think I would stick on a 4, but as far as Dread Elves go, it's probably close to as good as you get.
Yeah, probably.
So overall for the team, I think the 3 first lists I like a lot more than the 2 last ones. As far as pairing goes, I feel like they lack a good placed army.
Yeah,
because
they don't have a really good.
I mean, the ogres serves as 1, if you want to. The ogres can almost in any case go as the first one. But what happens if you, for instance, if you have flags as the first scenario? What do you do then? You play out the demons as the first placed army. That's not ideal for them.
No, you.
I mean, they can play that. That's not the problem. The problem is that then you will have 2 other less optimized armies that goes into the opponent and has to play that.
True.
So for me, I think overall the 5 armies, if you look at them at an individual basis, are okay. Some of them are good, some of them are just okay. I think individually looks good. On team basis, I think they should have had like at least 1 true anchor list.
Yeah.
Like the dwarves or something like this, that they have like one guy that's like, we can place this guy out and he will take 1 on the chin and live.
Yeah. They need something like that. Something solid that can just stick and hold.
The ogres can be that guy in a lot of instances, but if you get like flags with them, they can like brutally lose against certain oppositions.
And also it's kind of a waste to use an army that could score very highly in you just have to hold for a few points. So
yeah,
they're not using the full potential of what the ogres could do.
yeah. All right. So the next team is Clowns Chapter Munich.
Good name.
Yeah. And they have Highborn Elves. Pretty much. I think what we will do, because there is a lot of armies, if we get armies that are really similar to what we have had before, we just like briefly pass through them. And if there is like a new army that we haven't seen before, then we can sit down and discuss a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I agree.
So first one is Christoph Jimmy Grill Reiter with the Highborn Elves.
It looks like a fairly classical, very solid Highborn Elf list.
I agree. This to me looks really solid.
Yeah.
The only thing that I kind of miss is like a semi-big unit besides the Lion Guard that can actually go ahead and score. Because I mean 5 Lancers kind of work, but if you play Secure Target or one of these missions that requires more than one unit that can actually go ahead and score, I think the army is a little bit lacking, but overall I think they look good. And he has the Master of the Kranreich Tower to help the Lions somewhat.
Yeah.
So overall I think that's a solid 5 for me.
Yeah, solid list, solid in most missions. You can use it for quite a bit of different missions, so it's solid, good, yeah.
Yep. Next one, Carsten Richter, Last Green Knight, Kingdom of Aquitaine, with Favor of the Grail.
And he has the Green Knight, woohoo!
I kinda has to with that nickname.
Yeah, he does, he does.
So it's with Druidism, the Damsel, the Duke.
Yeah, very classic Duke with Audacity and Questing and Flesh Runner, yeah.
Yep. And Paladin.
Yeah.
Oriflamme.
Yeah. Decent with the Oriflame there, but it could be risky in some situations where the Paladin dies, but it's...
I mean, would you rather have +1 movement banner?
It looks like he's playing the Paladin with the Realms, so it's fun to have 24-inch potential range, but you should have enough with the Daring and the extra D6.
Yeah, I guess so, but to me, I would rather have the +1 movement, because I think the Oriflamme, for me, it doesn't really do enough. But I guess it's kinda okay. It's not bad. But I guess that boils down to preference.
Yeah, it really does. You save a little bit of points with movement over Oriflame as well, so...
and then he has 5 knights, 6 knights, 11 knights, 9 quest, which
with
is
the hedge. Yeah, so they have Vanguard and Skirmish. So it's an interesting combination. No? Yeah, Vanguard and Scout.
Yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah. It could be very annoying for some armies to face.
Yeah, I mean 9 knights with 2+ and in most cases 5+ is no joke.
True. Not most cases, but in quite a few against piercing, they have 5 up.
And then the Green Knight is going to help out the Hedge Knights at some point. And then 3 Pegasus Knights and 1 unit of Chaff.
Yeah.
So you are the knightly expert.
Yeah, knightly expert. If you have the Pegasus Knight, you should have the Vanguard. Even more so when you have Hedge Knights and a Green Knight. So you have 4 units that's vanguarding and jumping on your opponent extremely quickly, and then boosting that up with the Paladin with the Daring and a long charge with the Realm Knights with Audacity Lord. There's a lot of opponents that don't like this, so I would have traded Druidism for something for the divination spells. But having the ability to heal your lords, heal knights, some places it helps, but it's I prefer divination. It's a rerolling hit. It mitigates the rebel lance so much. It's
for me. I think it depends a lot on how you play the Duke. If the Duke is supposed to sit within the unit of Realm Knights, then I think going with Druidism is probably the best option. Because then you already have most likely the grinding power that you will need to get through most opponents just by having the Duke there. But if you're like the Turkish ETC player did this a lot. He did it against Kyrre, our ETC captain, and he also did it against me in UB. Is that but I think he uses the guy on Pegasus maybe instead actually.
It could be, yeah.
But basically he uses the BSB and the unit like a launching ramp. So he shoots the guy outside the unit to tie something down that contains toughness or strength 5, and he just sits there. And then I can see the use of divination, because then the unit will probably not do a lot afterwards, but you just want to have that one spell so you get the cold blood for the stubborn.
Yeah.
And then like you can also do some trading with the mage after, because the unit will most likely become like a static tool that if something charges this lord in the flank to help out, then you can come in and counter charge again.
True.
So I think the dynamic of how he plays the lord is probably the biggest catalyst in what lore is most proficient with this army.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also he has I'm used to playing a few bigger units than 9 and 6, so that also could help with the Druidism, keeping the small units alive. Also the Pegasus Knights, of course.
Yeah, but the Quest Knight, they will either go big or go home. They will
of course.
and kill stuff.
Yeah. So you don't have range for that most of the time with the Druidism.
Yeah. Unless it's really really good terrain.
Yeah, hoping for a lot. It's strong list. It can surprise a lot of opponents, and you're maximizing more or less the scouting vanguarding opportunities with the knights. So
yeah, I also like it.
This is solid. It's a little bit different. It can screw up a lot of people who don't realize at the beginning.
For me, I think this is pretty good. So for me, it's a good 5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then next one is Hayo Kruppa, Rise Against with the Demonic Legions with a poly list. At first glance, I thought this list was illegal, but then I learned that Courtesan does not count against, or pretty much any of the big guys doesn't count for the
percentage. Yes. Yeah. So it's very interesting take, but it's only 2 scoring.
No.
No, it's 2 times. Okay, the X was on the wrong place. Yeah. So it's 3 scoring. So it's basically minimum scoring. The Clawfiends are brilliant at what they do, and with the Courtesan, I like it. It's fun. You create a lot of angles, a lot of different opportunities to take a lot of points from opponents. I like it.
Yeah, I also like it. I think this is really nasty.
Yeah.
And I don't see any real room for improvement, because he has, like, for instance, one of the smaller things that people often leave out is like the black orb. But he's taken this, so he can help by indirectly protecting his Courtesan of Lust. Because generally the Courtesan doesn't really appreciate the attention of divination magic. but the black orb helps mitigate some of that pressure. So
Yeah.
I think this is really good for me. It's that good that I will hand out the first top grade of the session.
Yeah. I could agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because even the synergistic with the slaughterers, that they can triple march, so they can almost keep up with the Claude Fiends. So they can be in the forefront and threaten in the really early stages of the game as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So the next one is Jan Drychon Plausteiner with the Sylvan Elves with the Tremonic list.
Yeah.
On the get-go, not too fond of the Tremonic list.
No, true enough.
Very fluffy.
Against some players or some armies, it's very, very fluffy. So you have to be...
Jan, listen to me. I will give you plus points for being fluffy.
Yeah.
If I play you and win 20-0, I will buy you a bear afterwards. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. They look good, but the big trees are not good enough to compensate for their points. 3 fodder, nearly 700 points. He could easily die. Both of the big trees. No, it's
one of these armies that I feel like, whilst the list above is really good, I feel like it's basically the biggest difference between the list above and this list is the demon list above they hit approximately equally hard, and they both have, the majority of them have the 5-up saves, but the last guys on top of this move twice as fast.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's the biggest difference, that the demons will run circles around these guys, and they will really be in the places where you don't want them to be.
True.
With this list, not so much. They will walk across the table, and they will try to slap you in the face with their branches, and they will either succeed and hurt like a bitch, or they will fail and they will cry.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this is 3, because there is good matches for this list. I just think there are a lot better ways to play the Sylvan Elf.
Yeah,
for me,
there's a lot stronger ways to play Sylvan Elves. So it could be an attempt to try and do something solid for objectives as a placement army, but it's not strong enough to do that.
You only really have one big scoring units with the Dryads, because the Ticket Beasts are not scoring, I believe, because he has taken the Entangling Vines for a +1 strength, so they lose scoring.
That could be, yeah.
So the unit hits like a ton of bricks, and that's nice enough, but you only really have the 3 scoring units, and 10 + 9 Dryads for safe flags. That's risky business to me.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, and then we have Andreas Matkovic, the Beer Baron. I like that name. With Warriors of the Dark Gods, with 2 guys on the steed, 1 sorcerer, unit of Barbarian Horsemen, 8 big from core this time, that I do like. Big unit of Pestilence Warriors, same as last year, please. 2 units of Shrines, 3 units of Chosen. Yeah, to me this looks pretty typical.
Yeah, it does. It's basically the same thing as we talked about before, with 3 units Chosen with the standard and two guys on the steeds. So it's,
to me it's like
loyals.
It's okay, but the biggest difference is that he has 8 Barbarian Horsemen that can protect the 2 characters.
Yeah.
And act more as a delivery system. So for me this is a little bit better than the first one we saw, because I believe he only had 5.
Yeah.
And this guy has 8, so
Yep.
slightly better.
Mm.
Overall for the team, I think they will do okay. I think
Yeah, I think so.
probably the biggest guy that they would have to try to protect is the Sylvan Elf, because he kind of needs a little bit of support. Whilst I feel like the Demonic Legions could play many things, the same for the Kingdom of Equitaine. Meanwhile, they both have the capacity to be, for some armies, a true nightmare.
True.
And then you have like the Highborn Elves. You can do almost anything you want with them. They
It's a solid team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they will be in the. Do you know how many teams there are?
There are 16 teams total.
16 teams. Yeah. I'm guessing they will be top 5.
Top 5. Yeah, I could agree with that assessment. I think they will be for sure top half, but
yeah.
Yeah, it kind of depends on who plays who, I guess.
Yeah, of course. But they have the armies to probably do well and place in the top 5.
Yeah, the armies kind of says top 5, so
yeah.
I agree with that. So the next one is the Gefährten with the Saurian Ancient list. It's a bit of a different one.
Yeah. A bit more solid for playing for objectives and being a placement army, I think. 2 big units of Saurus warriors, a lot of small units with sparebacks, snake swarms, chameleons, and then.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a Nurgle list in disguise.
Yeah, it could be.
Because you have like the 2 Tyroscuros with the Altar of the Snake God, giving both unit of Saurian Ancients the 5+ poison.
Yeah.
So I think for me this is a Nurgle list in disguise. They will like walk up to the center and then grind.
Yeah.
And they will grind probably well.
Mm.
But then again, it's a list with no cowboys, so it's a very tooled list. So I would say a 4 or 5. I'm kind of stuck in between them.
Yeah, if they plan on using it as a solid list that just goes for holding the center, and it will do that job very well. So yeah, 4 or 5. It's somewhere in between there. It doesn't really matter which one it is. So it will do its job.
Maybe a little overkill on the magic though is what's kind of preventing it from being a higher grade for me, because he is like the Skink Priest with Shamanism, and then he's upgraded the Stygiosaur to have the Champion, which kinda is like okay amount of magic, but then he has the Coatl Lord with the Unconquerable Will and Essence and the Jade Staff, so he has like a lot more spells than what he will actually be able to use each round, I feel.
Yeah, true enough, but he could get a very decent combo and get the double 5d6 strength 1, and he could get decent things against most things, no matter what.
Yeah, I think the selection is good, but I think it's just too many points spent that
probably.
Theoretically probably won't do as much.
Yeah.
But solid list. Benjamin, Prophet of Truth, Kowalski, with Ogre Khans, not Hellfist, as far as I can see.
No, it's a Great Khan, then it's no Hellfist.
So, Khan, BSB, War Standard, Great Weapon, Greater Shielding, so 5 up for the BSB, and a 4 up region, and 4 up, 2 up on the Lord. No, 2 up, 4 up, I mean.
Yeah. And he has the a thing that doesn't give you higher than strength 5, so
most likely it will be a 4 up, 4 up.
Yeah, in just about any case it will be 4 up, 4 up.
Yeah. Yeah. I can appreciate this.
Yeah, it's ogres. It has a few decent elements, veterans with the poison attacks and shooting weapons, bruisers with a decent size block. So it's and double.
I think the big thing is the lack of cannons for me.
And lack of cannons.
I would take cannons instead of the mercenary veterans, and rather have 2 cannons and 1 additional saber-toothed tiger or something like that.
Yeah, that basically is the points, isn't it? So, yeah, trading veterans for cannons. Yeah,
I think because when you see this list, you know that these mercenary veterans will be monster hunting, because he has nothing else that can do the job properly. So they will be the monster hunters of this list. So if you can eliminate these guys, or if they take a few more missiles than they like, for instance, if you play a mirror matchup where the other guy also has a similar list but instead has the 2 cannons, I think he will win out, because he can just like throw the magic missiles from the pyromancy into the mercenary veterans and probably win out on the trade.
Yeah.
But then it, of course, it boils down to, for instance, like who gets the charge with the Auroch and stuff like this. But
yeah, isn't it always who charges with the Auroch who wins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably true. And then next one, Lucas Loek 1 Muskov with Highborn Elves with a Ancient Dragon.
Yay! What else?
Rest of the list kind of look MSU-ish. No magic.
No magic, yeah.
Oh, yes, the Aether Icon.
Yeah.
If not, I would have given this list a really bad grade.
Yeah, but it's a dragon. Yeah, it's probably his last chance to play the big dragon. So why not do it
in all its glory?
Yeah, in all its glory.
Yeah, it's a high risk, high reward list, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
if the dragon gets to do what he wants, then you win. If he doesn't, you lose. It's basically that simple.
Yeah. Rima, that's basically it.
Yeah. Triple chariots is kind of an interesting idea with the dragon. Triple lion chariot can be, with the stubborn thing against some things, could be annoying when you play against a dragon.
I don't think they really are tanky enough for me that I rate them. I can see the Lord being cool and stuff because you can build him tanky enough, but with just the normal chariot, I think I would rather just have the normal horse chariot because you have so much more movement and maneuverability.
Yeah.
But it's an
interesting idea, and it would be interesting to know if it would work with the stubborn against some things.
Yeah. I kind of like the concept though. It's a very go big or go home type of list.
Yeah, you can say that again. That is very clear. It's a big go big or go home type of list.
Yeah, so I would rate this is like, for me it's very hard to grade because he can do really well or really badly. So it
depends on how well he plays the giant, the dragon. I mean.
Yeah, so middle of the road for me.
Yeah, but he gets a 6 for fun army.
Yeah. So the next one is Mike Athos Deuce with Warriors of the Dark God, and he does not have the Dildo Lord.
No.
He has Demonic Steed with change.
A lot of change. Warriors with change. Oh well.
Yeah, okay, this is the one. Not sold on this one.
No, it's a bit of a mismatch or mix-max. It's some of everything, but it's sure the Dragon Centaurs do well, but it's a bit of a strange combination.
Yeah, for me this is a no, thank you. I think the tens of Wasteland Warriors in the core section is just it's dead points.
Yeah, if you do the change, or anything else than Nurgle or Pestilence.
Yeah.
You could play 10s with Nurgle, with Pestilence, but you can't play 10s with anything else.
Yeah. Only other way is if you're directly trying to counteract elves, and you take like a unit of Wrath with additional hand weapon or something like this.
Yeah, Optimist.
Yeah.
Oh.
But generally, not really favoring this one.
No.
I mean, the Lord is good. The Dragon Centaurs is good. Wizard Master is okay.
Decent enough.
Yeah.
Barbarian Horseman, sure, okay. But it's and the Shrine, yeah. But
I think they are overkill for me, because if
you don't really have anything to hide in there.
No, that's the thing. For me, they are just dead points also.
Mm.
I mean, like, they will probably do something, but for me, I don't see the big strategic value, because if you have like the Steed of Lust in there and you have 2 units, then I can see the strategic value in having a unit like this. But for now, they don't really hit that hard, so for me, they are just like a big unit of chaff.
Yeah, they are. They are 200 and some odd points of chaff. So it's yeah, there are a few things. I like the Centaurus, I like the Lord, but everything else I would basically change.
Yeah, change.
Yeah.
So for me, it's 2 or 3, somewhere around the lower parts of the scale.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then we have Stefan Talarion Eggert with Demonic Legions of Wrath. He has the Scourge, as we know and love, but he has the Ironhide instead of the Forab Region. He has the Obsidian Horn, he has the BSB on the Crusher, and he also has, is it 20 Slaughterers? Yes, 20 and 16. And then 4+5 Crusher Cav. 2 units of Furies and a unit of 2 Blood Chariots. Yup. Yeah, for me this is okay. Would have preferred that you went 26 Slaughterers and 10.
Yeah.
I think it's a better split than having 2 units that does like a little bit. Then you have 1 unit that does actually something and another, because you get more specified roles for each unit.
True. And not having musicians is a big thing.
Yeah, that's also true. And he also doesn't have musician on the 1 unit of Crusher Cav.
Yeah. So that's 60 points you basically should have no matter what.
Yeah, I think for me this is like 4 out of 6. I mean, the foundation is there, but you just have some smaller things missing, but they kinda make it so that the list it loses some strategic options in my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, I think it's quite good. The foundation is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Overall for the team, solid list with the Saurian Ancient, decent list with the Ogre Khans, very go big or go home list with the Highborn Elf, somewhat along the same lines with the Warriors, and then another offensive list with the Demonic Legion. So overall, I think somewhere around the middle, probably a little lower. I would say lower along the middle, but like between 8 and 11, I think.
Yeah, they need the dragon to do well to get above the middle.
Yeah, but they kinda have the tools to make that happen. But I kinda lack. They have. I feel like besides the Highborn Elf is like the tool that everyone uses to have like these standoff lists. I really feel that this this team doesn't have like a standoff list, which I feel like they should kind of have to make it all come together in a pairing setting.
Yeah.
Yep, but that's my judgment.
No, I agree. I think they will. They have a few things that could be exploited, and for that, I think they will need to fight hard to get above the middle.
Yeah. Then we have Dreiradgang. And then first one is Mikael Solar Grametsky with vampire counts. And he is...
That isn't this copy-paste, basically?
Well, it's a zombie dragon list.
Yeah, but it's copy-paste. It's...
Not
We've
really,
seen this-
because he's
No?
he's done something
he
weird.
has a few spells.
Yeah, he's taken some more spells than what's like
Yeah.
commonly known to do.
Oh.
Also, he has spare on his skeletons,
Ah.
and he has no units of rates.
Now that's true. Yeah, no rates.
I think overall it's like it's a zombie dragon, so it's kind of hard to fuck up.
True.
But yeah,
Yeah,
not really impressed. Very boring.
very boring indeed. So it's zombie dragons. It's you get the right matchup, you win. Or basically almost anything you can win against, but just avoid the worst things.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, middle of the road for me. I think as far as zombie dragons go, I think it can be executed better, and we have seen it done in ETC on several of the players there.
Yeah.
Then we have Pierre Eloriel Brumbach with Demonic Legions Monolust. Yeah, I think this is very netlist. Seen it tons of times on newbie. So yeah, not going to go into great lengths about this, but this is a good list. I think it would do well if it gets the protection it needs in pairing.
Absolutely.
And then we have Christian Starspieler Mathieu with Saurian Ancients, with Coatl Lord, Saurian Cowboy, another Cowboy with the BSB. Exciting that he's taking the Potion of Swiftness and the Halberd for some reason. And then 25 plus 2 times 10 of the Warriors. A small unit of Temple Guard.
Yeah.
Quite small.
Yeah, only 15. So
yeah. And Tyros Goros with the Sun Engine, and a Sigio with more spells. Probably what I would do here is take the Tyro Scooters, cut it from the list, and take more Temple Guard to give the Coatl Lord a safer place to sit.
yeah, as simple as that. But it's decently solid. But it could get risky for the Lord with only 15 guys.
Yeah, I mean he could place it in the 25 Saurian Warriors, but I think they would probably be like the anvil of the list, so they will take a lot of beating.
Yep.
So I would rather have him in the Temple Guard if possible. Yeah, okay list. And then we have Henrik Grouten Sur with the first Orc and Goblin list, I believe.
Yeah, it's the first one.
So he has the standard Witch Doctor, actually taken the Cave Goblin one.
Yeah, for the extra mushrooms.
Yeah, and then the Iron Orc Warlord, and then the ton of
Is it
chiefs.
four? 4 guys on... No, okay. 3 guys on the Nasher and 1 on foot. Okay.
Yeah, one with the 18-inch BSB and just 3 on the Gnasher to form a unit, probably.
Yeah.
And then he has 92 bows.
Yeah. And some kids and Banner of Discipline. Yeah, it's...
Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy. I stand in my corner and I throw comets and shoot git launchers at you.
Yeah. And then he's taken 30 Iron Orcs. with Banner of Speed.
Yeah, it's
And no spiders.
no spiders. The Iron Oaks are just there for being another anvil, I think, to try and protect the goblins.
If you should try to run through my close to 100 bow shots and 7 medkits, then I will have my Iron Orcs at the ready to get to you.
Yes. That's that. Yeah, that is basically it. So it's this is placement army number 1, I think.
Yeah, looks like that.
Yeah.
And then Francesco Life Taker Sperando with Dread Elf with BSB on the altar, 4 spells of alchemy. The Dread Prince on the chariot, 28 Corsairs, and 2 more scoring units, and then all the Raptor chariots and some chaff and 2 Krakens.
Yeah.
Where is the 3rd Kraken?
Yeah, I don't get it. Where are the Krakens?
Yeah, I think
as Dread Elves go, it's among the strongest Dread Elves you can get in 1-3.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Yep. So overall for the team, I think they have a very solid setup.
Absolutely.
A lot of net listing.
This will come down to
like
to players.
Straight net listing.
Yeah, it's solid. They will do well if they play well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think potentially, if you just look at the lists, this is also like one of these teams that could potentially go top 5 if you just look at what they have brought to the table.
Yep.
Maybe ideally I would have dropped the Dread Elf army and taken like an Ogre army instead to go even more straightforward meta.
Yep.
But I guess it's a nice kind of thing to have, because I feel like they have a clear anvil list and they have some clear like lists that they want to protect in the pairing. So I feel overall the team is really well balanced.
Yeah.
And then it's our team.
Yeah. So
then I will give you the pleasure to slaughter our lists.
Yeah, especially the number 3 list. It's horrible. It's gonna get nothing at all done.
Yeah.
No.
So we will start with our trusty captain, and the guy who will be doing all the pairings.
So he will get the main responsibility for you doing poorly, right?
Yeah.
So
of the two of us, he will be the almost sober one.
The almost sober one. Good. So it's Kitty Charles with his warriors, Demon Prince of Change, with Thaumaturgy spells. Could be risky, but yeah.
I wanted him to grab the shamanism spells originally, so you could just use him like a big fat anchor.
You need 5s to win me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would be stronger.
Yeah, I did this against a unit of 2 buses with the Kingdom of Equitane. And then just, I place my my Demon Lord here. If you charge me, okay, bring it. If not, then I will take you next turn.
Yeah.
And then he went in with both units. He stuck there. I didn't suffer a single wound. And then I charged a unit of Chosen in each of his flanks.
Yeah, but that's Carl Eric rolling, so... Oh well. Yeah. So... then he has a load on Steed of Lust. Again, yeah. Monster Killer. Very good build. 8 barbarians to protect him, 20 barbarians. No, 4 units of 20 barbarians just to be annoying and run around and get scoring, yeah. 3 units lusts, yeah. So it's very strong list, very solid. Only thing I would change is the spells on the Lord, basically. It's...
Or more dildo.
Or more dildo, yeah, but then you have to take away the Demon Prince. So if you're playing Demon Prince, you can't get any more dildos.
Yeah, I think his argument for taking the Demon Prince is like he kinda doesn't want to push with it, So
just jump around and be annoying.
I will do like the comet and then just place the comet so he can sit back, drop comets on the war machines, and then when the time is right, he will spring forwards.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan too.
Yep. And then we have Philip with Beast Turrets.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our rookie player. He hasn't played for too long, but we decided to adopt him and take him with us to a team tournament. So he will be our mascot.
Ah. But it doesn't look like much of a mascot list.
No, we gave him decent enough tools, I think.
Yeah. It's a Beast Lord with a raiding chariot, standard kit, 1-up reroll, and yeah. I hate playing against this guy. He handles too much damage.
Take Frederick Humpke's standard beast list, copy paste, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we gave him
not quite, but yeah, almost
close to. We gave him a few like small optional places to where he could change things, so he made it slightly more his own.
Yeah, with the double centaurs instead of briar beasts.
I think the centaurs is a nice option to have because you can go up to 5 scoring if you want to.
Yeah.
And in the objectives, like where it doesn't really suit you, then you can just like, okay, they are sober for flags if I need to play this secondary.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's a strong list. It's up to him to do well. He needs a mascot training probably, but he has all the tools he needs to do well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yes, and it's my list.
Yeah, we don't need to look. This is a 1. He will lose every single game. No, of course not. Yeah, Courtesan being annoying. Yeah. What is the Blissful Bindings? Is that the half weapon skill?
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh.
Just so I make sure I can win most trade-offs, like against Dread Elves and the Chaos Lords, I will win the trade-offs in most cases.
Yeah, you will. Double horse with spells, a dude on chariot with the shoot. So it's quite a lot of shooting in addition to having the annoying guys running around. Ugh. Can I not play this?
Yeah, it's the biggest issue I had was whether to take a medium unit of Slaughterers or Tallymen instead of the 2 units, but I wanted to try the 2 units of 10.
Yeah.
Not sure if it was the best option, but I think it was. I think it will pan out to be okay. Because I feel like if you are playing with only 4 scoring units, often your horrors become very passive, so like they sit in the backfield a lot.
Yeah.
And then I would like to have 3 scoring units that can be somewhat active and try to get into the midfield. And then I would like push with the Crusher Cav, obviously, and the Courtesan.
No, it's an interesting list. I think it will do well, and you know how to push, so you will push the right way.
And also, it really fucks up zombie dragons and chaos lords, which there are quite a lot of.
Yeah.
I like the moment when I shoot with the cannon and 2 single shot blazing chariots. And then I say, no armor save, no regen, bitch, to the zombie dragon.
Yeah.
Alright, then we go to the next one with Jerome Harver. I probably said that wrong.
So, actually no Hellfist.
No
So
Hellfist.
are you seriously on a team that hasn't a Hellfist in an ogre list?
Yes.
Wow. Khan BSB, Double Hunter on Tusker. Yeah, double cannon, double Orok. Yeah, you can't really go wrong with the ogres, but
yeah, I think I think there is a slight error here with the tribesmen. I think it's supposed to be 9 tribesmen instead of the 6 plus 6 and 3.
Could be.
Yeah, so I think that got lost in translation. So I will have to talk to them about that if that's the case. But I think it's supposed to be 9.
Okay. So you're starting in the negative, I take it then. Is there a reason for why you decided not to have the Hellfist?
I think it mostly boils down to that he doesn't really like thaumaturgy as lore. And
Okay.
also, we kind of wanted to have at least one army with pyromancy in our arsenal. So then we figured that like the best place to put it was in the Ogre Khan's list.
It's not like any of the other one can have pyromancy, so...
Now we could have, we also had discussions about Charles playing Saurian Ancients with Coatl Lord.
Yeah.
But then again, he wanted more to play the warriors, and Jerome also said that he kind of likes the pyromancy more than the Hellfist.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't really, the way he plays them, he needs to sit a little bit more tight. With the thing
That's
with the
about
Hellfist
the only
is that,
difference.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Because you will have your bus, and then you will have your Aurochs on each side, and then you will have the cannons like slightly in the backfield, and then you will have the hunters going on Rambo solo missions.
Yeah. Yeah, the hunters are a little bit more susceptible to failing panic checks or break tests,
but you will just have them outside 6 inches of each other.
Yeah, of course. And you have to push more aggressively with a shaman, so he's more at risk. But it's still just about the same as. There's not that much of a difference.
No,
it's
still really.
Still a decent-ish list, and you do way better against a highborn elf, so something with avoidance with the pyromancy.
Yep. Then our last guy, Stefan Eberlos Müller. It's a exciting list.
Yeah. Double organ gun, actually. So this is your placement list, I take it. Yeah.
We could also place the ogres.
No, never. No. It's fairly decent. Only one minor is probably the one thing I see that's the biggest difference from what you should have had. Double minor for other objectives than holding the center. But it's solid. Who's gonna kill a king on a throne inside 28 Greybelts anyway? So
true.
It's almost impossible to take big points from. You could win your objective and against it if you get lucky. But it's solid. It can handle most things. Organ guns for killing mainly just about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like it. It's interesting. It's a little bit different, but it's still solid.
Yeah. Overall, for me at least, the general objective would be to grab a top 3 finish. I think there is 2 teams that are way too strong with German ETC players that we should have any fair chance of touching them. So hopefully we can be in the at least in contention for getting the 3rd place spot is the hope.
Yeah, you have the list to do it as long as you don't get too drunk and all end up sleeping under the table. So it could be possible.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Then we have. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Genair Fluff Bunnies.
Yeah, at least you got the fluff bunnies right.
Yeah. I'll take those points.
Oh well.
Okay, so the first one is...
yeah, it looks like a very, very standard high elf list.
Yeah.
Dude in a chariot, spells on pyromancy.
Big unit of line guard.
And Rippers, yeah, it's very, very standard and high up on those.
Yeah.
And
then
it will
we
do
have,
well.
Marcus Corhedron Glensel. And then Lord of Chaos on disc actually this time.
Oh. With the Burning Blade. Could do well, could do nothing.
Yeah. I think mathematically, I think I do okay with the Courtesan versus this Lord. It's a little bit annoying. If I can get the reroll hits and divine attacks on, I should at least win.
Yeah, of course. If you get spells or buffs, you should win.
Yeah, but my first bet will be just to shoot him.
Yeah.
And then Harbinger of Chaos on Crusher, actually.
And with a Kingslayer.
Yeah. So he's 1-up and 1 reroll, Crown of Scorn, and he can also heal if he kills models in close combat.
Yeah.
Very Harakiri standard sized barbarians with throwing weapons, actually.
And great weapons. Jeez, they're expensive per guy.
Yup. And then 2x10 Wasteland Warriors with True Chaos and Halberds. And then 5 Crusher Knights, Police Board Buster, with Aether Icon, and 2 Wasteland Chariots with Wasteland Steeds, and 1 Chimera to top it all off. I'm not sure how to feel about this list.
No, I agree. No. It
has some things going for it, but it also has a few glaring weaknesses.
Yeah, true. So it could struggle. I
think
the Barbarians is way too many points.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me also. I think that against some armies, like if they face like a standard Orc and Goblin armies, this list will do absolutely nothing. Yeah,
especially if he faces the one with 91 bows.
Yeah, and that's like every Orc and Goblin list in this tournament.
Yeah. So that, facing this would be any Orcs and Goblins' dream, basically.
And also with the Git launchers to fire at the Crusher Knights as well.
Yeah.
So I think,
or even the BSB, or maybe the BSB is going to join the Crusher Knights. He even worse. Yeah, he has to. He has no ward save, so he has to. Yeesh, that's juicy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of these lists that needs protection in the pairing process to do well.
It does.
And then we have Christian Crazy Chris Skusa with Beast Herds. It looks fairly standard.
Yeah. Two guys on chariots.
Biggest thing is the Longhorn Herd with great weapons in ambush.
That's fun.
Yeah. Really annoying to play against.
Yeah. No, that's fun. I like that unit. So it's solid.
Yeah, I think I would win against this list with my list, actually.
Yeah, you just run away from it, don't you?
No, I just keep my Courtesan in the back ready for Longhorns and just shoot the characters. Well, the 2 on chariots anyways, and the monsters. Yeah. Because he has no Dark Rain.
No, he doesn't. God of Beetles instead. Yeah. He could get lucky with the God of Beetles and splat your Courtesan though.
Yeah, in theory, yes. If he rolls like me, sure.
Yeah, if he rolls like you, sure. Yeah. No, but it's an annoying list for some armies to face, and yeah, if you protect it a little bit in pairing and get good matchups, it will do well.
Yep. And then Felix Eurofighter Reisinger with vampire counts. And this is one of these lists that I really don't know why.
What? Huh?
Where are your points, man?
He has some ghasts, but nothing really to support it in combat.
Yeah, for me
He
the
has
ghasts,
10 raids.
Yeah, I feel like there is something missing.
True.
There is like 2 shrieking horrors missing or something from this list.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it, because he has a massive block of skeletons, and then he has 700 points in a general that will stand inside the skeletons and do summons.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing out on either 2 shrieking horrors or a unit of barrow guard. One or the other should be in there. I feel like the ghasts
he
is
has
like
traded it for
nothing.
ghasts something.
Ghasts, they are like tanky and can hold stuff in place, but I really don't feel like they are doing enough.
No.
And also the same I feel for the raids. They are like, if you want to do 20, it's like cool, or just 2 units of 5 just to use as like chaff killers.
Yep.
Then I can see them working, but like this in just 1 unit of 10, I don't really think they are worth it.
No, true.
So for me, this is a lower scale list.
Yeah, because you can do so much better with vampires. You don't have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. You can maximize so much more with vampires.
Yeah. And then we have Kingdom of Equitaine with this is the 4 buses list.
Yeah, 4 buses list.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 knights, 12 knights, and 16 grails. Does he have a horse on his? Yeah, he does have a horse.
This is something you would like to play.
Yeah, kinda. I'm missing the extra charge on the BSP.
Oh, it doesn't have that?
I can't see it.
No, that's right.
And he only has a 2-up as well. He does have a 4-up ward save, but he only has a 2-up armor.
The armor of Percival, it doesn't give...
No extra armor, it only is 1 extra ward save.
Oh, okay, so it's a 4-up then. 2-up,
Yeah.
4-up. And then it also takes away divine attacks.
Yeah, true. So he always will have the 4-up, but it's decent.
Yeah, I think it's very all-in. So I think both of this and earlier mentioned Warriors list is like 2 of those armies that's going to need protection.
Yeah. And if you start failing charges with this army, you're not looking good.
Yeah. I think a lot of the same goes for this Vampire Counts list. It's potentially pretty good, but I think they will probably like place the vampires in a lot of missions, and then I think the vampires and the beast herds will have like or maybe the highborn elves actually, probably more than the beast herds, will have like the tougher matches.
Yeah. At least he has 3 units of yeomans to save him when he fails charges.
Yeah. All right. So my bet is like low to mid finish.
Yeah.
And then we have Josse for Eva, the Dutch team.
Oh, it's a Dutch team.
Yes. So this is probably a friendly team to play. So the first one, it's like standard list with Seekers.
Yeah.
So
Vanguarding Seekers, Bombers, yeah.
Yeah, and an angry king in the unit of big clan warriors, probably.
Yeah.
So he will walk across the table and slap you in the face.
Yeah, he will try at least.
Yeah. No musicians on the Seekers. Worth mentioning, perhaps.
Yeah, that's risky.
Yeah, could be at least.
It could be, yeah.
And then we have Lars Franken with Warriors, which is a little bit out of the ordinary.
Jesus, that's a cheap Demon Prince.
Yeah, it's pretty much nude.
Okay. Oh well.
Yeah. 4 or 5 up. I think the biggest thing though is having that guy as his general. That's really bad.
Yeah. If he gets killed, it's 800 points. That's very risky to use. Because he's it's 4 wounds.
Yeah, but this is a mono wrath list. Everything has wrath.
Except for the general.
Yeah, so as far as list goes, I think this is probably a very low tier list as far as competitiveness go, but it gets very high marks in fluffiness.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then we have Josse Bushman with Prince of Dragon.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, I think this team probably will not finish high in the standings, but they will get a lot of cool games.
That they will. So actually a forest prince on a dragon. Yeah.
And then a chieftain BSB blade dancer to boot. And no magic.
No magic. Very interesting. I think these guys will have very, very fun games.
Yeah, probably fun guys to play. Probably a friendly bunch.
Yeah.
I will buy them bear.
Yeah.
And then next one is an Orc and Goblin list, which again looks very fluffy.
General on a Wyvern with toughness 6. And is that the 5 up or the 6 up ward?
I think it's the 6 up. The 5 up
Yeah,
is
it
greater shielding, and then you have supreme shielding is the 4 up one.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, though.
Okay, sure, if you want to try it, but no, it's okay, go ahead. It's again a very fluffy list.
And then the last one is the Empire Knight list, which I've seen around.
Yeah, double cannon.
That one is like, I think actually, maybe in exception to the first one, the most competitive lists in this team. It's 2 cannons and a truckload of high armor save guys.
Yeah.
Coming at you at a decent pace.
Yeah. No, it's stronger than the other armies, again, at least. So.
My plan against the Orc and Goblin list is like shoot the Lord and then watch everything panic.
Except for the Iron Orcs, which are, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, and then cannon, yeah. I think this team will be low in the standings, but they will have a great time, and they will probably, if there is a best sportsmanship, my money is on that they will win it.
Yeah, it's looking like that so far, at least, yeah.
And then we have Legion, Schwaben und Franken. First we have a mixed... No, it's not really mixed. It's a CC-oriented list.
Yeah, it's mostly trees, isn't it? Yeah.
Mostly trees and some support pieces.
Yeah, a lot of small units of dryads.
You've taken a unit of bodyguards for the druid as well, actually. And an additional forest on the druid that I missed out on last time I saw this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's still trees. It's not that strong.
Yeah. Kind of feel the same way. And it doesn't have the strength 5 on the ticket beasts. I think probably that would have been a better way to go. At least when you have like 4 units of dryads. True, one of them is skirmisher, but you have 4 units or 5 units already that is scoring. So I would probably just make them strength 5.
Yeah.
Because I feel this army is like lacking in everything but scoring.
Yeah, they don't have much damage output.
Yeah, like magic is okay, scoring they have a decent amount of units, but nothing really that like could say, okay, my scoring units can force your scoring unit away.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. And then next one is Florian Just Flow Gres with the Schleif S. And he plays Saurian Ancients with the Big Carnosaur and Coatl Lord and a cheap Skink Priest.
And double Taurosaur.
You haven't given a lore on the Skink Priest, but I will bet my dirty underwear that it will be Druidism.
Yeah.
And then 2 times Taurosaur, 2 times Ramphadons, and then Skinks for days, and more Skinks for days.
So nowhere to hit to hide the Quat's Lord. He doesn't have a lore either.
Yeah. Minus points.
Minus points. Yeah, if you can do anything about the Carnosaur, you win. If not, you will just have to leave him to kill whatever he wants, and you kill the rest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there is a vampire list with everything typed in German.
Aha!
Luckily, my German is just about fluent enough that I can understand what everything is.
Yeah, it's not that big of a difference, is it?
No. For those of you who don't know, German and Norwegian are quite similar. So, yeah. So he has the Lord, which is the von Karnstein, and the Hour of the Wolf, and 1 spell, and a Lucky Shield and a Razor Blade. So very
cheap and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful. Then he has 2 Necros, nothing special, 1 Wand of Stability, and 2 times 8 of the Core Wolves, 1 with Champion. And then 21 plus 22 zombies, both with musicians, 32 skeletons with hand weapon shield, full command and war banner, 2 chaff bats, 2 what's the English name? The chariot with the 4-up ward, the expensive chariots, black wagon.
Yep.
And then 2 altars and 2 shrieking horrors.
Yeah. Very interesting combination. I like it. At least it's not the... So it's a good list without the...
And also, the both of the dark wagons is stubborn, which is worth mentioning.
Yeah. No, it's a strong list without having the zombie dragon, and without being boring, with 200 skeletons.
He's doing the last huzzah of the black coach.
Yeah.
Because they lose this table that they used to have.
Yeah.
And then next one is Volka Volka Mayor, first Vermin's form of the day.
True.
Which is loads of disciples, 4 units.
Not enough grenadiers though.
Yeah, I would say the same. I would have more grenadiers.
Yeah, if you do grenadiers, do max out.
Yeah, pretty much.
24 or more.
Otherwise, I think it's it's very standard. Very standard Vermin Swarm. If you can put pressure on the backline, you win. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we have another Deutsch only list with Dirk Spear with the Kingdom of Equitane. It's pretty easy to see that this is a footman list, footman frenzy. So units is big, and he has 3 fat units and 2 wizards, and he has 2 of the leadership dudes, and 15 brigands, 2 relics, and 2 tree buckets.
Yeah. Double leadership. It's it's what this list is supposed to be. So strong.
Yeah, I think besides perhaps the Saurian Ancients lists, I feel like a lot of the other armies is very, very suboptimal. I mean, the Kingdom of Equitane, for me, I really don't like the foot list, but I mean, you get a good pairing card to have on some armies like mine. I really can't play against this.
Yep. So in this, from what lists I've seen so far, this can do a very decent job for the team and denying a lot of lists that would get a lot of points.
Yeah. Biggest issue for me though is that I feel like the Sylvan Elf is really holding the. It's a weak link in very many cases, I feel like. And like the Vampire Counts and Vermin Swarm and Kingdom of Equitane is like middle of the road good. And then I really like the Saurian Ancients.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming that the Coatl Lord is Lore of Fire and Skink Priest is Druidism.
Yeah, that would be a good guess.
So my prediction is like middle of the road for these guys.
Yeah.
And then Nerdy by Nature with Patrick Archeron Mao with Warriors. It's I believe the Archeron. I think that's the head of play testing.
Oh, okay.
So he has the Crusher bus, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then like a squadron of warriors that will walk in your face. And then BSB on Manticore as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he gets 4 up, maybe 3 up, 4 up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think the Manticore gives mounts protection. Or maybe it does, I don't know. Haven't seen anyone play it before.
No.
I would like to play this list just to see how the Manticore does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting monster with the D3 wounds, but it's if it gives the normal. Yeah, I think so.
I thought it lost it some time ago.
It could be. I haven't looked at the Manticore for some time.
Pretty sure the Dark Elf one lost it at least.
Oh, okay. It probably did then.
Yeah, it's an intriguing prospect, I think. I don't know the skill level of this guy. You would assume it's good because he's the head of playtesting.
Yeah.
Assuming it's the right guy though. I believe Archeron is the guy.
Yeah.
And then you have Johan Volkmar Rykker with Empire of Sonnenstahl. Very plain and boring empire, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe only the difference is that I would have run Pyromancy instead of Alchemy on the Wizard.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But besides that, I have no complaints about this.
Yeah, maybe getting double cannon in addition to the mortar.
Yeah, maybe.
I would probably change the engine to another cannon.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a plain and boring Empire army.
Yeah. Nothing fancy, but it will do the job they ask of it.
Yeah.
And then Sebastian Berserker Poison with Demonic Legions, which is almost a mirror list of mine. Slightly different. He has the Scourge.
Slightly.
But he does a lot of the same things though.
Yeah.
And then
he has a demon engine.
Yeah, instead of the big unit of Crushers.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's close to identical.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this one?
It's solid with the shooting, with the engines, with the Scourge. I don't think he would like playing against you because the Scourge loses against the Courtesan, but it's I think he will take quite a few points.
Yeah, I think so too. Biggest thing I see probably losing a lot of secondaries because he doesn't really have any units that can properly push other units away from the objectives. But it doesn't need to be a big disadvantage, but because it depends on how he plays them. But the thing, I feel my list has a different dynamic than his, because my list, I have 2 pieces that I can push with and can help each other out, right? With the Crushers and Courtesan. Meanwhile, he can't really push with the Demonic Engine. It doesn't really do that much in close combat, and you'd rather sit back and shoot because you have invested a lot of points in Hellish Bombard and Mark of Change.
Yeah.
And then you realistically you only have the Scourge of Wrath that can push, and then rather than doing something actively, it will become most likely a support piece. That's like, okay, if you come at me, my Scourge gets to join in the game.
Yep.
And essentially, in a lot of cases, my Courtesan and Crushers would be somewhat along the same lines. If I face something that I really can't push against, then that's probably the role my Courtesan would get. But my Courtesan has 2 spells, which hopefully can do something in a situation like this.
Yeah.
So overall, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
A little bit weak on scoring, but that's about it.
It's decent enough.
And then we have Matthias Shaitan X Cressi. Probably said that wrong. Beast Herd list with Footlord with Hunting Call. And another Foot BSB, an expensive ass Soothsayer with Scroll and Shamanism. And then big unit of Wildhorns and 2 units of Wildhorns. No, 1 unit in ambush. And 1 of Mongrel Raiders, Gargoyles, Chariot, Ambush Longhorns, Centaurs Ambush, and Jabberwock and Gortak.
Oh well. The Longhorns in ambush are interesting.
Yeah. But I feel like the last list we saw with the same gimmick was better put together, besides that.
Because unless you can ambush with the Beast Lord inside the Longhorns, I don't see why you would have them on foot.
Yeah. Me too. I think that the additional chariots you get instead of the monsters and having your characters and chariots really isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Because ideally you can have your characters going around and doing other stuff, but now they kind of have to go in that big unit of Wildhorn herds, which means they will be a lot easier to chaff.
Yeah. There's basically 12, 13, 1400 points that can be easily chaffed away.
Yeah, I agree. It's like 1400 or maybe 14, maybe 1500 even points that will be chaffed.
Even if you put the Soothsayer inside, it will be a lot more.
Yeah, but he will most likely do something though, because he has magic and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I think he will more likely sit in the Mongrel Raiders.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah, I think that's how most people play it.
Yeah.
If not, then why do you even take the Mongrel Raiders? Then you are better served by taking something else.
Yeah.
And then we have another Vermin's form. Looks like a lot different than the last one.
Yeah. Also have only 8 Grenadiers. He has cannons instead of mortars. He has only 6 disciples.
Yeah. 2 cannons and an abomination though.
Yeah. And an assassin.
Yup. And Armlet of Power, Armor of Destiny, and Blade of the Swarm for the Lord.
Yeah, that could be trouble if you fail dispelling the Armlet of Power.
Yeah, that could potentially be really bad.
Yeah, but
overall, I think that generally building like this with Vermin Swarm is counterproductive because you can do it better with other armies, and there is.
Yeah.
I think there is better ways of using the Vermin Swarm.
Yeah.
Overall, I think they should do well. Last two lists I'm a little bit uncertain about. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but
Yeah.
I feel like the first three lists are more solid. Also, probably needs to protect the warriors a lot in pairing for him to do well.
Yeah.
But the other four lists, I feel like none of them really screams that I'm bad at this to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I feel like they are very well rounded, whilst also being able to claim the big points should they get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think so. I think they will do decently well. I'm not expecting them to place top 5, but
I think they should. I think they will have a lot easier pairings than a lot of the other teams.
Yeah. A lot of work has been done for them already.
Besides the warriors, they don't really have any armies that they really need to protect in the pairing.
Yeah.
So I think overall they should do quite well.
Yeah.
At least as far as pairing goes.
Yeah, they will do. It's up to them to take the points, but it's they have every chance to do well in the pairing and get good matchups.
And then it's Ohne Toto zum Saufen. This is one of the ETC teams, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Start off with Peter Borgio Ritter. It's a familiar name for me. He was at least in Spain because he played Chaihammer in the singles tournament, I believe. I think he also played for the German team.
Yeah, I think so.
And then it's pretty much a standard warriors list. I think we've seen
pretty much
almost an identical one once or twice before.
Yeah, actually even with the Vortex Fiend.
And yeah, I don't really want to go into detail about this. He will probably do well. He's a good player, probably better than the other guys. Yeah. And then Mikael Morte Klostermann with Demon Legions, Poly Army, Courtesan.
It was fairly similar.
Interesting by taking the Stalker standard on the Harbinger, giving the Slaughterers Swift Stride. Interesting turn. I think it's a good list, but ideally I would have liked to see bigger units of Claude Fiends. Like take one big unit instead of 3 small ones, because you already have the Chaff with all the Furies.
Yeah.
And for some reason he has taken one unit of Furies with change. How does that make any sense at all?
It could be he had no, he can't be at maximum points for last.
No, he's not even remotely close.
No. Then I don't know why.
I'll have to ask him about that one. I'm intrigued. Maybe it's just a typo though.
It could be.
Yeah. Next one, Johannes der Puppenspieler Moor, infamous player. Very vanilla Infernal Dwarf list. Almost copy pasted from the beastly Infernal Dwarf list that took as many points as Mintz, Konrad, Kristecki, Abrasus. Played very almost identical list, I believe, in the ETC. So this is a list that means business for sure.
Absolutely.
Looks very strong in pretty much all aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm kinda uncertain about is that immortal block.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, I can see that you would ideally like to put one of the characters in there, but you won't really want to. You can't stay in a prolonged combat with that unit. And also the characters in themselves, you don't really want to have them in the front line either.
No. But
I mean,
the Immortals...
They have like plate armor, don't they? So it's like a 2-up, 6-up on the BSB?
It's a 2-up, 6-up, yeah.
Yeah.
And a 3-up on the...
Yeah, but he has more than enough small units and chaff and shooting, so if he doesn't want to go into combat, it wouldn't ever need to.
True.
And he also can push with the 2 Kadim units as well, so...
Yeah. It's very solid, very resilient army.
Yeah, if that unit ever sees combat, I can't imagine that Johannes has planned them to sit there for more than one turn.
No.
And then Mark Pofalicht's Öser Hellfist list. I won't even say anymore. Very standard Hellfist list.
This is very, very standard Hellfist, yeah.
Yeah. Only thing I will mention is I like the creativity on the second Mammoth Hunter. It's one of the more resilient builds I've seen.
Yeah.
That's
Headhunter and Orok Charm. Interesting.
Yeah, and also Armor of 14.
And very solid.
So he's a 2-up, 5-up Fireborn and negates multiple wounds in half.
Very solid.
Yeah, and then all the troops is like copy-paste.
So what are you going to do with the Hellfist list?
With the Hellfist list?
Yeah, no. What are you going to do to make a Hellfist list different? It's it's a Hellfist list.
I think ideally you would like a unit of Tusker Cav and then slim down maybe on the Shaman somewhat. I think he's gone very to town on taking all the magical fancy stuff, which necessarily isn't always needed. Yeah. But with the 5-up ward, it makes the opportunity, if he wants to, he can leave the Hellfist guy just alone and just like do comet spams. Yeah. If he really wants to do that. But I guess with discipline it would make more sense to just sit him in that unit anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Last one is Anthony Blackie Thompson with Saurian Ancients. And it starts off with a pimped up cowboy, and then a Tauros or BSB, and another skink priest, and then big Saurian, small Saurian, Cayman, and shooting, and 2 monsters to top it off. Yeah, nothing really fancy.
No, it's solid.
I think this team is going to take the 2nd spot.
Yeah, I think they will try and fight hard, but
yeah. For me, I think the TGH team, which we haven't gotten to yet, is probably the favorites, and these guys will be breathing down their necks to be contending for
probably.
The top spot. I think just they have strong lists all over, and just by virtue of their individual player strength alone, they should be right up there.
Yeah, and the matching of the list is very. They have what they need to have a strong team.
Yeah, I agree. It ticks off a lot of the boxes. I think basically why TGH will win is that they have just edged them on player strength individually, and that's why they will win, just slightly.
Yeah.
And then we have Siger der Herzen with Vampire Counts. This is the Strigoi list. It's actually quite interesting.
Strigoi. Bestial bulk. Ah. One all-time. That.
It's pretty interesting. Lars? I think we are facing some technical problems. I'll just pause the video and jump right back in when I got a hold of him. There we go. Lars dropped out of the conversation there for some reason. Don't know if it was my bad or his bad. But sticking on the topic, the vampire counts.
Yeah. So I like the idea of having bestial bulk general with the ghasts and then having vampire spawns to help out, making flanking maneuvers and creating uncomfortable positions. So it's an interesting list, but it's two extremely expensive lords or vampire counts.
Also just the one race.
Yeah. One
so
race.
If he starts losing bodies, he won't be able to get them back.
That's true.
So that's the biggest issue. But I think the reason I'm slightly intrigued by this list is that if they protected him pairing, he can be fed into some armies that really would struggle to erase bodies fast enough for him to be really worried about it.
Yeah.
And also it's like, I would not gladly send my courtesan into combat with either of these lords.
No.
And that's saying something.
Yeah. That is... It could be quite dangerous for quite a lot of armies.
I think this is one of these lists that it kind of looks soft when you just glance on it, but when you go a little bit more in depth, it's actually really well put together.
Yeah, it could be very dangerous.
So I kind of like this. I'm really excited to see how he does.
Yeah.
And then you have Vincent, Dr. Euchter Klose with the Kingdom of Equitaine. And this is also this Duke build I find very interesting. It's because when you put him on the Hippogriff, he becomes Monstrous Cav, right?
Yeah.
Which means you can single him out with the bolts.
Yep.
But the Armor of Percival and Blissed Scripture makes him he is a pretty difficult nut to crack, actually, with cannons and stuff like this.
Yeah, he has a 4-up and it's half wounds. Only 3-up armor though.
Yeah. So, but he's still with Audacity and Great Weapon and Divine Icon and all the stats in close combat. So, and yeah, if he'd taken Druidism, I would have liked this list probably a little bit more, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Having the Druid to help heal him up after he takes a cannon to the face, it would be a very good list that could basically counter cannon lists in a way.
I feel so too. I would really like to see that. But overall, it's two very interesting lists thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, also it has decent enough scoring.
Yeah, decent amount of scoring and decent units of scoring. So
I like the 2 peasant levy from the core, because when you have the 3 units of knights coming at you, you probably won't spare them any attention. So it's a little bit sneaky, I think, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And then we have Ruben Dagobo Rimkus with the Sylvanelf. And this is a very fast list.
Yeah, double dancer kindreds. Castrats, a lot of fast movers, yeah. avoidance-ish kind of list.
I think the big thing here is that he can pick the fights because he has 2 units of Kestrels and 2 units of Wild Huntsmen. Problem is, if this guy faces a standard Pyromancy Orc and Goblin list, he will pretty much just forfeit the game by at least 15 points.
At least.
If he doesn't, then he has the tools to do pretty well.
Yeah. As long as he avoids Pyromancy, it could go quite well.
I agree. And then Kevin, Dr. Akula Bauer. It's very standardized Highborn Elves. Only difference is that he hasn't taken the Lord on Chariot. Instead, he has 27 Line Guard, 21 Flame Wardens, and 16 Sword Masters.
3 fighty blocks. I don't know how I feel about it, but
I feel it's a little bit too heavy on the mid-range sized units. I would have liked to seen maybe 30 Flame Wardens or 30 Sword Masters in addition to the core setup that he has already. But it looks okay in my mind.
Yeah.
And then we have Saurian Ancients with 2 Cowboys and Slan and 2 Skink Priests with Shamanism, unit of Warriors, Cayman, Braves, Chameleons. Yeah, rest is pretty much just shooting and a Taurosaur.
Yeah, so a lot of small units and maybe a little bit too much with double Skink Priest.
Yeah, I think he could have sufficed with 1 actually.
Yeah, 1 is enough. A lot of small units, and except for the Saurus.
And I would have taken Pyromancy instead of Divination, I think, on the Slan.
Yeah, with Saurus, you don't need Divination. You already have Cold-Blooded, so why would you take Divination?
Yeah, and I think you win the combat regardless, actually. So the buffs are like kinda not really worth it in my mind.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the list is quite good.
Yeah, it's a decent list.
But I kind of feel that with most of these lists, I feel all of these lists have some cool tricks to them.
Yeah.
So I think this is like in football we have this term dark horse. So this will be one of the guys chasing the leaders, I think.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
It could potentially be a surprise upset with these guys.
Yeah.
Then we have Team Akistan, and then we have a Hellfist list, but a little bit of an unusual setup.
Double Bombardiers. Huh, interesting.
And also a big block of Bruisers for the Shaman to sit in. I'm not entirely sold on this one.
No.
I kind of like the prospect of having 14 Bombardiers. It's a nice tool to have in a pairing setting. But I generally like the normal Hellfist type of list with the double single hunter instead better.
Yeah. And 11 bruisers with the general. The general will be vulnerable. Even if he has a 4-up ward.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think so too. But nonetheless, the prospect is exciting. If he gets some help in the pairing, I think he could do quite well.
Yeah, he needs some help in the pairing. Not like so he has a bit of a different role than normal Hellfist list. So.
Yeah, and then we have Kai Damu Cooper with Demonic Legion, Monotheistic Wrath. Yeah, this is
fairly standard kind of mono wrath.
Yeah, a little bit weaker on the scoring side though.
Yeah, but he has double cannon instead and hellhounds. So, yeah.
I have a question for you. This Harbinger build. Is he allowed to do that? Can he take both the Obsidian Horn, the Veil of Shadows, which is 100 points, and then the Stalker Standard?
I didn't think about that. Maybe he can't do that.
I'm not entirely sure. I will have to ask the TO about that.
Yeah, I don't think he actually can do that.
To be honest, I haven't looked into that, if that's even possible on the Demon Legions. I'm not really played them much in tournaments before. So I will have to ask the TO about that, if that's illegal or not.
Yeah, because both the Veil of Shadow and the Obsidian Horn is 50 points each, so...
the Obsidian Horn is like 30 and the Veil is 70.
But it's 100 points total.
Yeah.
So you're above the... It shouldn't be, but it could be some strange wording in the Demons list with magical banners.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But, okay, we'll assume it's legal, at least for now. And then he gets the hard target on the Slaughterers, which I really like. He gets the Swift Strike and I believe movement 6 with the Banner of Speed.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So that unit really does hurt.
Yeah.
And then the rest is pretty much like double cannon, double crusher cav.
Yeah.
Only he's taken a unit of Hellhounds instead of boosting the size of the crusher cav.
Yeah. Could be good, could also hurt him with smaller units of crusher cav.
Yeah, he just needs to play them differently though.
Yeah.
And I would have taken the instead of the standard on the crusher cav, I would have taken a champion on the other unit instead of the additional standard, because I believe the champion is nice to have, so you can do the combo charge and then the Scourge is not stuck in a challenge all the time.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a solid list, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have Björn Bernsmeyer with Warriors with the Wasteland Dragon.
Cool.
And then he has the ramp, the change with wings and burning blade. 2 chimeras, 7 wasteland trolls, and 2 units of warriors.
Points for having a fun list. That's.
I will give this to him. I do appreciate his list. It's a really cool list. Another one though that needs a little bit of help in the pairing.
Yeah.
But if he gets some help in the pairing, I think he could do quite well. Really exploiting that the high limits of what the warriors can do with both high monster and also high characters. Yeah,
absolutely.
But interesting and cool list. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then we have Kai Darkblade 94 Brightsprecher with the Empire of Sonnenstall, which looks to be pretty mainstay Empire.
Yeah. Also here alchemy instead of fire or pyromancy.
Must be a meta thing in Germany, I think. A lot of alchemy going around.
Yeah, a lot of alchemy.
And does he have the flaming banner somewhere?
No, I can't see it. No.
But I believe the prelate can give has a prayer that gives fire.
Yes.
So yes, at least 2 ways if he rolls up the Glory to Gold spell as well to gain the rerolls.
True. Do you know what the Star Maze does?
I can't recall.
No.
Maybe it's the crush attack thingy?
It could be.
Yeah, I really don't know.
No.
But I could assume so, because the prelate looks like he's like the one-hit wonder man.
Yeah.
And then we have Ake Natasake Brenneke with Vampire Covenant, which looks to be one of the more plain versions. Yes, Big Necromancer with Tullius Teeth. 2 like medium vampires, I would say. 1 hero and like 1 cheap-ish lord.
Yeah.
And then yes, like ghouls, and then a small unit of skeletons, or a mid-size unit. It's small as far as skeleton goes in my mind.
It's small as far as skeletons, yes.
And then
We haven't really seen any huge units of skeletons yet.
There was some like 49, 50
Yeah.
earlier, but not as many as I thought I would see.
No, true.
Yeah, and then you have zombies and chaff and
a whole lot of bats.
And he's added a C there. I believe that's a typo. Because the raids are not allowed to take a champion unless you have the blood ties.
Yeah, probably.
And then Winged Reapers to top off. For me, don't really appreciate this list. I think it's a little bit too light. It seems like a very middle of the road list, and I think that's probably a bad way to go with the vampire counts.
Yeah, I think so. Because
he really doesn't compete in more than 2 of the phases, because his list isn't really that fast. So he's like average to bad in movement. And then you have the fact that his magic is set up okay, but it's not really good.
Yeah.
And he only has 1 necromancer that can actually boost the skeletons above starting size.
Yeah.
And also the fact that his characters doesn't really hit that hard. His whole army is like
defensive guys.
Yeah, his whole army feels very middle of the road.
Yeah, it feels like he's playing defense all the way.
But for the team as a whole, I think it's kind of good, because the first 3 armies is probably needing more help in the pairing than the 2 last ones. So I feel it kind of balances out.
True.
Overall, middle of the road, maybe, depending on, I don't know the player skill of these guys, but maybe one more of the dark horse. I expect them to finish a little bit below average, but they could be one of the teams that kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it could be.
And then we have TGH, my tournament favorites.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, and then we have Frederick Humke with all of the Wrath Harbingers and Crushers that he probably could find in Germany. He's got 6.
Oh, Jesus.
No, wait, 5.
5.
Still, that's like 3 too many for me.
Yeah.
And then he has MSU Slaughterers in core, and 2 cannons and 3 units of Crushers and 2 units of Chaff. This I've played against it in the singles in Spain. It was my 2nd game in the singles, and I played this. He's like semi-famous from Australia, Jack the Pain Train.
Yeah.
And he played this almost exact list, and it was very painful to play against.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a very skill-based list, because if you get a guy that actually knows what he's doing in the movement phase, this list is so terrifying to play against.
Yeah, that's true.
So as usual, my bet is on Frederick taking a lot of points with this list.
Yeah, I can't do anything but agree. It's solid list for a strong player, and is probably one of the strongest in the movement phase. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Thomas Alish with the Highborn Elves. Very standardized Highborn Elf list, I think. Except that he has the 2 Fire Phoenixes, which we really haven't seen that much of in the earlier stages.
No, we haven't seen any so far. And this is...
Yes, Divination though instead of Pyromancy. Not necessarily bad when you have the Phoenixes.
No, that's true.
And Double Sloop. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Very all around.
Yeah, very all round, and they've probably maximized it to fit in to what they expect to counter the other lists they have.
Yeah, the thing that I like with the Fire Phoenix is that normally when you play Highborn Elves against Vampire Counts, unless the Vampire Counts player has either 2 Shrieking Horrors, then the 2 Phoenixes just destroys Vampire Counts so badly.
Yep.
And then we have Yannick. I hoped and thought he was going to roll with the Dark Elves, but he has gone back to his peasantry ways, and he has loaded up all the peasants in Germany on his side.
Just about, yeah.
Also, exciting addition, he is taking Scepter of Power and Wizard's Hood on one of his dukes, which I find slightly amusing.
Yeah, slightly amusing, but it's still as good as can be. Basically, it's
a wall of peasants coming at you. Pretty
or
much.
standing on the objective for that matter.
Yeah. Or that.
Yeah. Very strong, very good.
Yeah, very boring as well.
Extremely boring as well.
Then we have Matthias Haberland. Don't recognize the name, but since he is in this team, my guess is that he is quite good. Or maybe he is Ratatosker on the 9th Age forum.
Could be.
Maybe that's him.
Interesting, fun list. A lot of monsters. Double Wyvern.
Yeah, I've seen this list earlier in Germany tournaments, and I believe it's basically 100 bows, war machines, and cheap command to sit in these units, and then you have all the monsters.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't call it like a really bad list to face. I think there is a lot of armies that can do well against this. But if it's protected in pairing, as it probably will be, he will do well. So he probably will do well, because I believe they will do probably the Highborn Elves, and also the peasant line will be the placed armies.
Of course, yeah.
And then last one, Paul Feuerstacke with the Warriors of Chaos. I believe this is also a fairly decent player. I think I've seen some of his videos on YouTube. I think it's the guy who is called like Insane Dicing Skills or something on YouTube. Fairly good list as far as I can see. Looks a lot like some of the ones we have seen before.
Yeah, we have seen quite a few looking similar to this.
But he hasn't gone with the dildos. He's just
wings instead.
Wings and Spear of Gagnir. It's +1 strength and something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the. It's a decent-ish weapon, but it's not that impressive.
Yeah, but the character otherwise is 1 up, 4 up.
Yeah.
And he's taken True Chaos Mark on in for some reason. Probably so he can sit in a Pestilence block.
Probably, yeah.
Because then he can charge out of the unit with movement 9 or 10 actually. Yeah. It's the Ramp Lord that we saw one of the teams in Paris utilize.
Yeah, the 9-tail and the Banner of Speed.
Yeah. So that could be a nasty surprise if you're not prepared.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, and then we have next team. Obviously, TJH, in my mind, is going to win the tournament.
Yeah, or at least be... I'm expecting they will never place worse than second.
Yeah.
But most likely they will win.
Lower than second, or should they not qualify, it would be a huge upset in the Warhammer world, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and also the same for the Peter Ridder's team as well. If they should not qualify, it would be a tremendous upset, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have, this is Sparta. This is not Sparta, this is Germany. But yeah, sure. Then I have a Infernal Dwarf with Immortals, Kadims, and Flintlocks.
Yeah.
Taking the big unit of Immortals instead.
Big unit of Immortals with a general that's very killy.
Very safe list, I think, overall.
Very, very safe list.
And then next one is Florian, the Great and Clean One, Schulte with Saurian Ancients. He has the Carnosaur lore, the Coatl Lord, and else is like some Saurian warriors for scoring and a Taurosaur and all shooting.
Yeah.
And then we have the not the Hellfist actually.
No.
Bruiser Bus and some Bombardiers and Tuskers, Cannons, and just the one Auroch. Yeah, this one has the Gem of Fortune, so the bus becomes nearly untargetable by shooting.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm intrigued. What would happen if I would charge, say, my Courtesan or my Scourge in this unit of Bruisers?
Yeah. Not good for the Bruisers. They would stick, but yeah, you could get lucky, but you need 5s to hit, and
I could just allocate the tags at the champion. And then the champion dies, and then one of the characters has to step forward.
Yeah.
And then obviously I would just issue the challenge regardless, and if he refuses, then fine, you refuse, and I take away
your reroll.
Yeah, your reroll. So yeah, but otherwise it's 2 cannons and 8 bombardiers, so it's a nice list, I think. Also one pretty safe list.
Yeah.
So they have 2 safe lists, and then the Saurian Ancients, it's like when you bring that big of a monster, it's always a gamble.
Yeah.
And then we have Gabba Gandalf with Zombie Dragon. And this looks to be a
fairly standard.
Best execution of the Zombie Dragon I've seen thus far.
Yeah.
Only difference is that I would probably try to squeeze in some, take away the bats and squeeze in some Reapers, the Wraiths. But that's like only a minor change. Yeah. The list does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
I think maybe also the shielding scroll is a bit excessive, maybe.
Yeah, what would you need that for? Giving ward saves to skeletons?
You can give the vampire count on dragon at 2 up against magic for 1 turn, but besides that I don't really see the great use of it.
Yeah, what kind of spell would be so dangerous you need a 2 up? Maybe if you have a 1 wound remaining or something, but I
think the spell from Divination, the Unerring Strike, is quite unfortunate if you cast a big version on the dragon.
Yeah, but you still have regen, don't you?
That's true, but still it's...
okay, yeah. It could be dangerous.
Yeah. Potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's pretty safe and standard. And then we have Simon Pfeffele with a... Let me see, 1 Wyvern, 2 Wyvern, and magic, and BSB with 18-inch. So he has double the 18-inch bubble, and a lot of goblins in core, and a unit of orcs, and all the shooting, and all the monsters.
Yeah.
Interesting list. There is one major issue with this list, and that's unless you are very fortunate with your terrain, it really can't push. Because the Wyvern Warlord is really, really risky.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
It's one Rock Trover or Cannonball, and then you are stuck on Goblin Leadership for the remainder of the game. And that's not cool.
No, but it's fun. It's interesting. Double Wyvern is.
But there are enough safe lists in this roster that they should be able to protect it somewhat in pairing.
Yeah, I think so.
I think also this is one of the teams that I imagine they will be around the mid-table, or maybe lower even, but potentially could do well if they get good pairings. They need to
if they do
execute
well
it correctly.
Yeah, they have potential.
Yeah. And then we have Zensiert und Nur zum Saufen da. First list is Thorsten Path with Dwarven Holds. Well, what do you think about this one?
Let's see. It's an okay-ish deployment army, but it's for some reason it's missing something. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but not. And 16 Rangers to boot. It's. I think it's too diverse for its own good. It's trying to do too many things at once, but not doing anything really, really strongly.
I totally agree. I also played against Thorsten in when we went to Germany last time around. And this guy is very typical placed army material. He's one of the guys who plays really safe.
Yeah.
And unless this old dog has learned some new tricks since last time, I reckon it will be same type of job over again for him.
Yeah, it looks like he's built an army to be placed and could be placed against absolutely anything.
Yeah, it's very similar to the army I played last time as well.
Yeah.
So I suspect this is like the models he got and what he's been rolling with for the past 6 to 8 months.
Probably, yeah.
And then we have Patrick Pimmelmann Steininger with Orcs and Goblins with Chariot Lord this time around, no Wyvern. The Witch Doctor with Thaumaturgy. And a Common Goblin with Masa's Sapin Bow. And then the 18-inch BSB.
Yeah.
It gives the unit quick to fire, I believe.
Yeah, quick to fire and lightning attacks on the bows. On his bow.
Yeah. And he has all the shooting.
Yeah.
He has
and the monsters.
95 plus 30 shots, so 125 shots.
Fairly decent.
Yeah. Also smells very much like a placed army.
Absolutely.
Very safe. Next one is Dread Prince, Dread Elves, Gregor Grossflens. Alchemy on this one as well.
Yeah.
With a flaming standard.
Yeah, it's fairly similar, but he does have the executioners instead of krakens and chariots. Big altar. Yeah.
Not sure about this one. I would rather have the chariots and the krakens, I think, instead of the executioners, because I feel like you already have the corsairs to do the very same job.
Yeah.
And I either drop the Corsairs and run the altar in the Executioners, or the other way around. I think having them both is like little bit excessive.
Yeah. He also has the Flaming Standard and Alchemy and the altar reroll, so.
Yeah, little bit excessive. Maybe this one can kinda justify it if he takes the altar and places it in the Executioners.
Yeah.
Because the Cult Priest has the Cult of Nob. So I reckon it will go in the Executioners and give them the reroll, and then he will have like the Oracle trying to give the Corsairs reroll.
True enough.
And then I think I asked the TO a question about this also, because the Dread Prince seemed to be missing some items.
Some magical items.
Yeah, there is no way that Dread Prince is 606 point weighing in at what he is currently written up with. So, to my best imagination, he misses a Cloak of Midnight and a Bluffer's Helm.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, that's my bet. And then we have Jens Furtman with Highborn Elves, with a very, very standard list.
Yeah, very, very standard list.
Yeah. This one has Pyromancy instead of Divination though, which I like.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we have Daniel Herbie Schaefer with Ogre Khans and...
with the big mace.
Yes. Maul. Yeah. This guy right here, I'm telling you now, is he will lose at least one game, because the Great Khan will fail his
stupidity test.
Stupid with reroll 9. It's happened to me, and I'm telling him right now, if you're going to watch this, it will happen to you too as well, my friend.
Yeah, that always happens when you least want it.
Yeah. No, but overall, this list looks
as long as as long as you pass the leadership 9 with the reroll, then it's all good.
Only one Orok though.
Yeah, only one Orok.
That's the only drawback that I can see.
Yeah, you should have changed the Scrapults for that.
I would have liked to see the BSB with the banner that gives rerolls once.
But don't you think the block is hard enough on its own, so you don't really need it that much?
Probably yes, but then again, rerolling once to hit is very big for ogres.
Yeah.
Usually you wound on 2+ anyway, so most of your hits will be converted into wounds, but it's mostly for the actual hitting.
Yeah.
And then scraplings to fill out his core, and some chaff and some shooting. But I would easily have traded the Scratapults in for a second Orok.
Yeah, I agree. No. And 2 Oroks instead of the Scratapults.
Yeah, and then like remove the Scepter of Power or something on the wizard.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yes, and then we have the stand-in guy. We won't cover him, I think.
Oh yeah, if someone is not there.
Yeah, then there is like the Springer. Then he will arrive and hold down the fort with his dwarven army.
Yeah, it's a decently solid dwarf army to hold the fort, so yeah, but okay.
Yeah. Alright, so overall, I think there are surprisingly many Dread Elf lists in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't expect to see that many Dread Elves.
No, and maybe I expected more zombie dragons than there actually were.
Yeah, but aren't you always going to expect more zombie dragons than there are?
I think the last tournament that Hammond and Halvard went to in England had an appropriate amount of dragons. But then there were like crazy amounts of dragons of all sorts flying around, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but my hope is that best case we can make a top 3 finish. If we manage to grab the 3rd spot, I would be really, really excited, because it would be a slight upset.
Yeah.
And if we make top half, I will be satisfied with our performance. Hopefully, we can make top half. Would be good.
Yeah, that should be possible. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think we will manage top half if I don't drink too much and don't pass my bad habits on to Charles.
Yeah. And he only gives you double cannon list or something.
Yeah. No, I can play double cannon.
Yeah.
I just shoot the cannons first, and then when the cannons are away, then my big girl steps onto the field.
Yeah.
All right. But I guess we are through all the lists, so thank you for helping me out with this list review.
No worries.
Yeah, so hopefully we will do well in Germany, and then we have the team Norway is sending a team to the second version of Luxembourg Bash. So I'm just going to promote this, and it's a very friendly tournament in Luxembourg with teams of 5 players. Was a really good time last year around, so I hope to see lots of new players there as well as some old ones. I believe actually the tournament has capped in amount of teams that have signed up, so there is now actually a waiting list. But if you have the opportunity, try to contact some of the players that have already signed up and get into their teams. It's going to be a blast and a real awesome time.
It's going to be good in Luxembourg. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Also, captain of the team for Germany, Charles, is the organizer and really good guy, and he will do a lot to make accommodate outsiders who travel to Luxembourg as well. Yes, that's all for today. So thank you for helping me out again, Lars, and we'll see all of the viewers hopefully in Germany.
Yeah, and good luck in Germany to you and your team.
Yeah, thank you.